Hello folks, welcome to the canal de Chano Jose. Today I'm going to show you how to make a component that you can feed power to your car through the cigarette lighter while you change your battery. There's components out there that they already sell them that you can buy and use them. But if you have a shop or you are using this kind of methods of replacing batteries very often, there's certain cars out there that are going to be resetting themselves once you plug in the new battery. So to avoid resetting stuff and adjusting stuff, this item, once you make it, you can plug it into the cigarette lighter and you can provide power to that car or that computer while it's being replaced on the main battery. So this item, while we make it, it's pretty simple. I bought this for $2. This is the cigarette lighter connector. And then I had some wire laying on the garage. And then we're gonna use a 12-volt small battery. That's gonna be our supply. The power that is gonna keep the car from resetting while we change the main battery. So with that said, we're gonna use a multimeter to test the wires so they don't make contact inside and you don't cause a short. We're gonna use a soldering gun, some solder, and some electronic solder, and some paste. This is a lead-free soldering paste, and then some cutters and some pliers. So with that said, let's start it and show you how I make this. It's pretty simple, and I'm gonna explain why to buy this kind once we open it, and I show you why. So this is the cigarette lighter connector I'm gonna use. This is about $2 what I paid, and this is an unfused cigarette lighter. So all it is just a straight connector. So whatever you feed on one end is gonna come out on the other end of the connector. So that's why I'm using this one. So we're gonna take it out and we'll start the process of how to make a connector to feed the battery on your car. So it's pretty simple. You open it, we take the internals out. It's just this 3 pieces to it. The body, this is gonna be the ground, which touches on the sides, and the positive is this tip, which is spring loaded. When it touches into the cigarette lighter, that touches the positive, and this guy touches the negative or the ground. So pretty simple. Put it back in. So the reason we use this one is because this is really simple. Whatever you put at one end is gonna come out through the other end once the wires are connected, and they're gonna be feeding whatever item you're feeding. So the reason you don't wanna use a cell phone charger or any of those, because those have regulated, they have a one-way current, or they have fuses and all this other stuff. You want something like this, more solid, more just simple, where you can send or receive power whatever way you need it with this guy. So with this guy, you're making both ways. You can feed or take power from the car with this. So that's why we're using it. Simple. It's just a connector. You can make it to feed, like I said, or receive power to another item. So I'm using these 2 wires. One is red and one is yellow. I'm gonna be using the yellow as ground and the red as positive. And I'm using this little battery to supply the power once we get this item going. And the reason I'm gonna be leaving this, putting these clamps or connectors, is because the type of connector on the battery are that kind of connectors on the wires already. So you wanna put whatever connectors on the wire to whatever battery you're gonna be using. You can use clamps, or you can use this kind of connector. So I'm using this, and I'm showing you why I'm using this battery. This is a 12-volt battery, and this is what we're gonna be using. So first thing we do, folks, is we get our body of the connector, and we slide it, and we slide the wires through it, so we don't solder these wires into the other pieces, to these pieces, and end up with the wires and this body not being in there. So You want to make sure if you already got your connectors on the other end, you want to make sure you put the wire back through the body and you start soldering the stuff into these other pieces. And remember that these connectors on the cars, the positive is always this little spring loaded on the tip, and the other, this guy, which is the side of the charger, is the ground. So what we do first is we solder the yellow one into this piece, and then we solder this piece into the red one like this. So what you want to do is you want to expose some of the copper or some of the wire once you slide that plastic body into the wires. And then I cut just a little bit of the red one because it's going to be soldered right in the tip of that, like that. So I don't need much. And this one, I'm just going to slide it between, close it, and solder it right in there. So now that you have soldered your positive to this tip, what I would do is first slide a sleeve over it that you can cover the exposed copper or wires, because this other part is going to be around it like this on the structure. So that way, when the other one slides, the exposed metal doesn't touch the other one, so it doesn't create a short. That's why you cover that with the sleeve. That's just the internal part, so they never, if it's too close to each other, they never touch each other. Now what we do, folks, is we slide our body right over these connectors, and then we start pulling and arranging to put everything back together. We screw it on, and now we have our connector that goes into the cigarette lighter with these two ends that are gonna connect to our little battery that we have. So that's how it comes out or goes in, and this is gonna be feeding this to this into the car. Okay folks, so we have our little connector. So this is straight connector. There's no fuse or anything on this guy. So we're gonna test our battery with a multimeter first to show you. This on 0, 12.5, 12.5. So now what we do is we plug in our positive, and then we connect our negative into the yellow one, which is the yellow one. So now we're gonna test on this end how much voltage we're getting in this end. So ground positive 12.5, 12.5, 12.5, and 12.5. So I'm gonna leave it like that and disconnect the negative. Connected, disconnected, connected, disconnected. So as we can see, we're getting power, or we can feed or receive power from any source on a car from using this system. And this is how to make it, and I'm gonna show you in the second video, how to use it and how it can save you a lot of time and headaches on cars that will reset themselves or will lock up. So this is how to make the system, and we're gonna apply it and see how it works and if it works. Well folks, I hope you have enjoyed this video and find this information useful towards your next project. And this video was about how to make this connector from a simple cigarette lighter connector. Don't use the cell phone chargers because they have a different system. You want to use a straight connector where the wires touch. Pretty much if the wire was just touching the inside of the cigarette lighter. Some of the chargers for the phones are different. They got different components, so they don't send energy in. They only provide energy to the cell phone or the component that you're powering. So these are different. These are made just straight shot in or out. This doesn't have just one way. And I'm using this with these terminals because I'm using this little 12-volt battery. I'm not using the clamps. So you can use clamps in case you use a bigger battery and you're trying to provide power to the car while you change the battery. So this video was just to show you how to make it. In the next video, we're gonna show you how to use it and what the results that this is gonna provide for us while we change the battery on the car. So we'll see you in the next video here in el canal de Chano Jose.